Good evening, everyone. How are you?
Wonderful.
Good. It's wonderful to be with you. Renee, thank you for your wonderful introduction. It's more than a pleasure to be with all of you, especially because I'm with Senator Richard Burr. Richard was a member of the House Energy and Commerce Committee, so he was my colleague there, House colleague, and then he left us in the dust, came over. Now he is a United States Senator, still a very, very good friend, and someone that, that really shouldered a very, very important effort. Our effort together was based on a report from NIH on the state of bioengineering by the agency, and the legislation that we wrote created what has moved forward. It's housed at NIH, and everyone that's here today and what you're doing, I think, is an outgrowth of that. We're very proud of it. We're very proud of you. I know that my constituents from Stanford University are here today. They came in today, as well as UCSF. Great recipients, Richard, of NIH dollars. Two of the most important institutions in the state of California in terms of the research that's done. So without, obviously, Richard's vision, what NIH really put out there and was instructive to the Congress, yes, the work that we did together, but your ongoing work now in this field is absolutely essential for the people of our country. That's really what our collective work is about, is the people of our country. And what I'm very, very proud of is that we've been able to maintain a level of funding at NIH so that the work can go on. It's essential that that funding be consistent. It can't ever take a dip. If it does, it puts a dent in the effort of our nation. So without going into details of dollars and fiscal years and all of that, I want you to know that collectively you are bringing about a great deal of hope and progress for the American people. And as I said to the group that came to visit with me today, when we do, we are advancing all of this in our country. We're a model for the world, but most importantly, we're hope. We are the hope. You are the hope for all of humankind, because the innovation and the leadership of the United States of America is essential to that leadership around the world and what can be done for humankind. So this is always a wonderful gathering. I think Richard would agree with me, Senator Burr, I should say. Senator Burr would agree with me that you all give us a vitamin B shot. So thank you for your work. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for your advocacy and taking the story across the Hill, the House and the Senate. That advocacy is absolutely essential to keep the dollars in place, that what you say to members, they and their staffs are going to roll that into their work. Their awareness is increased, and it's the reason that we have the steady funding that we have, because it takes more than Richard and myself to do this as a team. It takes all of you coming to DC, advocating, explaining, talking about what you do day in and day out, and for that we can't thank you enough. And it keeps this effort that was born in 1998, signed into law in 2000, it keeps this effort growing and vital, as I said, for the people of our country, and giving hope to human beings around the world. So bravo to all of you. Bless you in the work that you do, and keep going. Thank you.
You can see why I had a great partner in doing this.
she didn't miss the number of times she referred to me as a United States Senator, because she looked at her watch and she knows that all senators are in their pajamas watching Jeopardy at 7:30, so my night will end pretty quickly. 20 years ago. I want to share with you the response I got from the director of the NIH when I said we're going to create an Institute of Biomedical Imaging and Engineering. And he looked at me and he said, "Over my dead body." Well, I don't know if he's alive now, but he's not the director of the NIH, I can assure you that. And the Institute is alive, well, growing. And let me share with you what drove us. For the NIH then to account for imaging research dollars, what we found is that if they were doing a cancer study, it was cancer research, if they used an X-ray machine, they counted that as imaging dollars. And the truth was that NIH at the time didn't really deploy new dollars to technological advances in imaging. And it took the Institute, and I dare say I don't think we're looking at another institute at NIH, but if we thought that there was a therapeutic benefit for patients around the country, the two of us would be the first to do it. But it's all about driving research dollars and finding bench researchers that are willing to chase the future, willing to concentrate on things that we need solutions to that are health related. And I dare say that I've looked at the list of 30 individuals that were grant recipients, 2 of which are from North Carolina, from Wake Forest and from the University of North Carolina. My goal is to make sure that all 30 every year are from North Carolina. I don't have anything against California. But I want the dollars to go to who has the best, the brightest potential breakthroughs that we can chase. And a lot's changed in the 20 years since Ann and I promoted this legislation. The number one thing, and it accelerates at a rapid pace, is technology. And technology is what drives imaging. The fact is that today technology has a shelf life somewhere between 18 and 24 months. So if you discover a utilization for new technology, you've got to do it with the thought in mind that in 24 months that technology is obsolete. So this is a continual process. It's why the 38, I think, billion dollars that we put into NIH, the 4.2 billion that came out of the Cures Act alone, which was a plus up, is absolutely crucial. We're investing in the future talent of the research bench by doing extramural grants from NIH. And we feel it in institutions around the country, and it's competitive. No matter how much I want to put my thumb on the scale, doesn't mean we're going to get all of them. It means that the best and the brightest and what we need the most is going to get the money and it's going to get the research. So I can't tell you how impressed Anna and I are 20 years later to see the progress that's been made with the Institute and with the Academy and with the researchers that are in this room, some of which I think probably were still in diapers when we passed this, Anna, looking around. And the reality is that they're a contributing element to the solutions and health solutions that we need in this country. I think I can make a promise on both of us behalf. We're going to continue to fund at current levels or above. We're not going to look at cuts. But I need you to understand, that the research model of the past is not the research model of the future. That as technology accelerates, as the shelf life diminishes, it means they go on a research bench and they come off a research bench faster. Now, there are some things that you have to wait until you get the key to unlock the door to understand. But the decade where we sat on a research bench and worked the entire career on a particular solution, that doesn't exist anymore. We've got to drive the innovation in healthcare, one, because of the cures. But two, we've got to drive it because it's those cures that give us the key to the next thing that we need to look for. I can remember just 10 years ago, nobody talked about platform technology. Now we have a whole effort outside of NIH at BARDA over at HHS that's looking just at how they finance platform technologies. Technologies that might cure 6 or 7 diseases off the same platform. And the challenge is to find the reviewers that we need to actually approve technologies that we talked about 5 years ago but didn't really exist. And now they're reality. And to take the architecture of government, which in this case is FDA, and try to get an approval process through on a technology that an average reviewer doesn't understand. That's why many in the room might need to look at the FDA as a future career opportunity. Not just the research bench, but to become a reviewer, to take these technologies and to approve them to be deployed in the marketplace. You see, America is positioned in the most wonderful place that we could ever be. We're still the country of innovation. And all we have to do is make sure that we match the architecture of our policies to allow the deployment of those technologies in as quick and as fast a way as possible. We couldn't do that if it wasn't for the progress that you've made in the imaging world. And to all 30 recipients, our heartfelt thanks to each of you. And more importantly, we look forward to the lives that will be impacted by the technologies that you're able to develop, whether that's concussions in the case of Wake Forest, or any other therapy, any other discipline that is being worked on in this room. We're 100% behind what you're doing. There's nobody that cheers any louder than the two of us, because we feel like we had a little bit of a role in the creation of this opportunity. And we want to make sure that we can look back on it through you and be proud of the impact that we had. Thank you for being here.